Welcome to This Week from Rockdale, and as usual, I'm your host, Larry Cox, and it's great to have each and every one of you joining me this evening. We're going to talk about some things tonight. We're going to talk about the Board of Education. We're going to talk about Terry Oates. We're going to just talk about things that we should talk about as members of this community, as citizens, as stockholders, as taxpayers. Let me say hi to some folks, guys. I'd really love you guys to share, like the show, and then we'll do what we do best. We're gonna chop it up and talk some things. So good evening, Ethel Bland. Great to have you here this evening. Charlotte Gellert. Great for you to be here. Mary Boysworth, Marie Withers, um, William Campbell, Joey Williams, Cheryl Moulton, Jill Oden, Doug. Doug, great to have Doug's been under the weather here lately, and it's great to have Doug feeling better and feeling good enough to join us live tonight. Hey, Doug, thanks for joining tonight. Jill Oden, great to have you here tonight. As I'm going to talk some Board of Education stuff and budget stuff and things like that, and it's great to have you on here tonight. With you being the former director over at the uh, RCA. So it is great to have you here to have some wisdom come in the chat at some point. So, guys, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight, and let's get to it and let's start chopping it up, guys. Like I said, anything you've got to say tonight, throw it out there. Let's not be afraid. Let's put it out there. Let's let the citizens of Rockdale County know that we're not happy with what's going on in this community. We're not happy with what's going on in Rockdale County when it comes to budget needs, how the Board of Education is spending our money, and that they're just not listening to you and they're just not doing the right thing by us spending our money properly. So let's start off with this. What we find out is Terry Oates is going to get a raise and he's going to get a new vehicle. So they have approved a $286,000 3-year extension for Mr. Oates. And they've also approved him getting a new SUV Tahoe, from what I gather, a new vehicle. Now, guys, let's talk about the current vehicle that the chairman has. I mean, not the chairman, the superintendent. Superintendent now has an SUV that has 45,000 miles. And, in their bylaws, it says that he can recommend to the board that they replace his vehicle when it gets that many miles. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I run a construction company. I run a fleet of vehicles. We in no way would look at a vehicle at 45,000 miles and think we were going to replace that vehicle. There's just no way. Danielle Munoz, great to have you tonight here, Danielle. As tonight is education discussion night. Great to have another educator in the room tonight. So, like I said, Oates has got a vehicle that's got less than 40. It's got 45,000 miles on it, and they're going to replace that vehicle. Now, one of the board members, I understand, is because they want to make sure he's got a say, and it's usually from somebody that votes against these things. But I'm told not to be surprised if one of them doesn't vote to support this movement. Final vote for the vehicle. Well, their thing is got to make sure he's got a safe vehicle. They think 45,000 miles is high. It's not high mileage on today's new vehicles. In fact, because something is new doesn't mean that you've got a great vehicle. I think that they've got a vehicle that's got 45,000 miles, and if it's shown low maintenance and it's shown that it's been durable and steady, then stay the course with that vehicle. I've got a couple of, let me just give you an example of, I've got a vehicle that's got under 10,000 miles, and we're having to get the motor rebuilt under warranty because some parts just flew apart inside the motor. I've got another vehicle with under 30,000 miles that it's having electrical issues and injector issues. So it's going to the dealer. I've had a couple of vehicles that got recalled and they got recalled with under 10,000. It's actually three vehicles. They got recalled with under 10,000 miles on them, and they all had electrical box issues. The box that holds all the fuses and all that were subject to catch on fire, and one of our vehicles, the box did catch on fire. So all three of those vehicles had recalls. So if you've got uh, uh, you can't do that. So Alex, we're going to talk about something else here. When if you sell them, you can't sell them to you run them, you can't sell them to employees dirt cheap. I'm going to talk about something. Uh, do you guys? How many vehicles do you think the Board of Education has in what they call their support fleet? I mean, I'm going to talk about back in the day in West Virginia. I remember they had three vehicles back in the day when I was, going to school there, and a youngster and knew things politically there. They had one for the superintendent, they had one for the director of transportation for Board of Education, and they had one for the truant officer. The guy would go around and check and get in your case. Bill Campbell, like you stole my thunder. I was going to go there. They've got 46 support vehicles. That means the principals, assistant superintendents, and those kind of individuals have got. I wasn't even aware that we were providing county vehicles for those types of individuals. Wasn't even aware of that. And I don't think that some of the Board of Education elected members are, because I talked to at least one of them and said, "Well, do you know how many vehicles there are?" And the answer was no. That person did not know how many support vehicles they had. And then, of course, Corliss Turner with the uh, or watchdog group, they went ahead. Voices for Rockdale, they went ahead and did an ORR, and we found out there are 46 support vehicles that this Board of Education has. That is totally ridiculous. I wasn't aware of that. And that's one of the things. If Larry Cox is elected to the Board of Education, we're going to eliminate. We're going to. Well, I'm going to, definitely put motions forward. Do you know the millions of dollars we can save getting that down to four or five vehicles that are just needed, four or five vehicles. Get that under. Let's not have 46 vehicles. Let's have four or five. Guys, it is totally ridiculous when you look at the millions of dollars we're already spending a lot of money on buses. Then when we have these support vehicles, it is totally ridiculous and crazy to think of the money that we're spending on support vehicles. Guys, we pay people and we pay people a lot of money that work at that board office. These folks that are making $145,000, $150,000 a year, you can afford your own vehicle. You can afford your own vehicle. And Charlotte, I went there with those directors. She's talking about the BOC and the directors. I think I was told George Kelichek had told me, I think that the BOC has well over 100 vehicles, like 150. I think he told me is how many support vehicles the BOC has. So it is just absolutely ridiculous when we look at the money that's spent. Then let's talk about Terry. I've done a half-ass job as superintendent, right? 208 pushing $286,000 a year to manage a below mediocre school system. Let me just ask you, just imagine if this guy would really be doing a good job, how much the majority of this board would vote to pay him. And this is the thing about it. The majority of this board is clueless. They don't understand the citizens of this county don't think that he's doing a good job. They don't understand the citizens of this county don't think that their tax dollars are being spent wisely. And they don't understand that the taxpayers don't want to pay the substantial amount that they're paying. So, Rockdale County is one of the few counties in the state that's allowed to go over the state cap. So, we're 23, 24 mills all the time in the Board of Education. Are you aware of what the state cap is for millage rates for Board of Education? If you're not, the state cap is 20%. 20% mill. And and we've exceeded that I think since the 1990s. Since the 1990s, Rockdale County has had an excess of 20 meals, excess 20 meal plus. 20 meal plus. And that's just ridiculous, and it's got to stop. Financing the education has to be a balance. It has to be a partnership between the Board of Education, the superintendent, and the taxpayers of Rockdale County. This has been a one-sided partnership. The taxpayers of Rockdale County have not been included in the decision making in deciding any of this. And that's why one of my key initiatives in my campaign is to have town halls, to have meetings, to invite you, the citizens of Rockdale County, to come and discuss with me how you want your taxpayer dollars spent on education in Rockdale County. Now, people say, Larry Cox, you're forgetting the children. You're forgetting the children. I am not forgetting the children. I want to provide the kids of Rockdale County a quality education. I've said this many a time. Just because you throw money at things doesn't mean you're making anything better. Just because the fact that we have 46 support vehicles, does that in any way enhance the education that a child is receiving in Rockdale County? If we had 4 vehicles or 46 vehicles. Now, if we had 4 vehicles, it would enhance the way that we're the education that the kids are getting, because we could cut the budget some and then maybe allocate some additional funds for parapros to assist in the classroom to help kids that are struggling with their reading and math skills. Maybe eliminating 40 of those 46 vehicles would help improve the test scores. Having the ability to spend more money on parapros and giving the taxpayers of Rockdale County a tax cut. Remember, I told you guys last week when I talked about cutting the budget. First 2 years, 15%, 7.5% a year. I told you we would find ways that would not impact the day-to-day operations of the school system. Cutting 40 plus vehicles from the budget does not hinder teaching kids in the classroom. Can someone in this chat right now, tell me if we cut 40 of these 46 vehicles, how it would hinder teachers teaching kids in the classroom? Right now, I dare you. I want someone to tell me. And if you can't come up with a reason, then say no. Say none. There is none. None. No reason. None. There is no reason if we cut 40 of these vehicles from the budget that it will hinder classroom performance, that it will hinder teachers from teaching. Daniel, come. I want to put this up. So I put something up. My bad. Okay. How much of the training that teachers get on the in-service days actually improve classroom performance? Question. My guess is very little. Very little. Alex has got a comment. The school system thinks teachers should make 6 figures. So yeah, $300K for the superintendent isn't surprising. Bill Campbell. I personally don't think we should have any support vehicles. So what do you think? I mean, you've seen it. That's some strong comments from some folks out there. And Danielle Munoz, I put strength behind her comment about those training days was Danielle is an educator and a teacher. If someone would know that answer, it would be an educator and a teacher who has strong enough an opinion to put that out there. Who has strong enough an opinion to put that out there. Guys, we need a reality check here in Rockdale County. We need a reality check. When we go to the polls, we need to realize that the majority of the board that is serving you now have no idea what you think, what you believe. They actually, when they hear that the community doesn't think Terry Oates is doing a good job, they can't believe it, don't think it's true. Actually, a few years ago when we put it on the ballot, do you think Terry Oates should be in? And this is the criticism back that gets back with that now. Well, that was just Republicans. I tell you something. The Board of Education is a nonpartisan position. The Democrat Party should have put that on there too. That was a nonpartisan type question. It was just asked individuals who happened to be Republicans. I think if you would have asked the Democrat, it would have been 60. Could have even been higher than the 60% that don't think Terry Oates should be superintendent. I know a lot of Democrats. There are people who are Democrats that are watching this show right now who are on this show, who are in the chat, and they don't support Terry Oates. Terry Oates is not supported by the majority of this community. He is supported by a majority of the board. He is supported by the majority of the board. That's our problem. And this board, the majority of this board is in denial of what's going on. When people say we don't think the education system is doing well. Well, we've got all these awards. And then I've told you guys last week, those are all fake and pretend awards that they are actually giving themselves by belonging to these organizations. You just fill the paperwork out and they give you these awards. I told you my stories last week about being a contractor, belonging to these associations and applying and getting what it sounds to be these prestigious awards. I even asked once, how did we get this award? We were the only ones applied for it. So we got the award. I tell you, it comes down to this. If you've paid your dues, you fill the application out and spell everything right, maybe you can even miss 2 or 3 probably and you do this, pay the fees for everybody to get this continued training through these organizations. That's the key. They want to make sure you pay your fees. If you're up to date on your fees, let me tell you what, you're getting these bogus awards. You're getting these bogus awards. Guys, if we want to have true change in Rockdale County, it's going to start at the ballot box next year. It's going to start at the ballot box. It's going to start with you not voting for these incumbents that voted to approve Terry Oates' raise and Terry Oates' contract extension. And it's just crazy. It is just crazy. So, yeah, I mean, even a couple of the board members will even say when they mention about that vote, that was just Republicans. Well, no, that was just a whole bunch of citizens. Let's take out, when you guys are representing us in a nonpartisan manner, and that was a portion of the citizens of this county who voted that they did not support Terry Oates, and this board totally ignored those voters. Now, do I know what's going to happen when I, throw my name in the hat, which I've already done, and run for this seat? No, but I'll tell you, we're gonna start doing some campaigning next month. December, I plan to have the website go live. January, I'm gonna start putting signs out there. We're gonna start going and knocking on doors. We're gonna start having some town halls and inviting you, the citizens, to them. And let me just tell you, when I'm elected to represent you on the Board of Education, I'm going to continue to have town halls. I'm going to continue to represent you. I'm going to go to schools and talk to principals, and I'm going to find out what they think. I'm going to find out what teachers think. Because the majority of this board, when they're told educators have low morale, when they're told that things are going on, they don't they don't believe it. Yeah, Alex, that's that is a reality there. You turn the I mean, we are turning kids out that can't read. And I mean, and I hate to say it, but I run a business. These youngsters come and fill out applications, and their problem is, they can read words. They know how to say the words. The problem is reading comprehension. They have no idea what a sentence is. They have no ideas what the words say. They have a lack of reading comprehension. Danielle, you're right. Can't read or do basic math. They can't add, subtract, and divide. And I've talked about the need to quit the foo-foo stuff and focus on the basics. Nothing will change until we start focusing on the basics. Focus on the basics. And Alex, and this is a tough statement to make, but I'm going to make it. Not everybody deserves an across the board raise. I believe in merit raises. And I'll talk about that on the board. I'll talk about rewarding teachers whose actually students do leave the classroom capable and ready versus those who don't. Uh, I do believe in merit raises, just like I believe in merit raises in the private sector. I don't give everybody who works for me doesn't get a raise. If you get a raise if you show initiative and you do a good job. That's how you get a raise. You just don't get a raise for being alive and breathing. Alive and breathing doesn't cut the mustard to getting a pay increase. And I basically think, unfortunately, with Terry Oates, like I told you, he's getting a raise because he's been able to drive the company vehicle and not smashing up, not get a DUI, ties his shoes, brushes his teeth, combs his hair, looks presentable. So he got a raise, and he got a contract extension. Because we can't say that we did it because we really improved the educational system in Rockdale County. Because if we based the pay on that, then he would have owed us some money back, right? If he would have based it on that, he would have owed us money, and he shouldn't have been rewarded with a 3-year extension. That's the way I see it. Guys, we got some things to look at here in Rockdale County, right? So, you know, 3-year extension, $285,000 a year salary now for the superintendent. Uh, Getting a brand new vehicle just because. 46 support vehicles. Um, Everybody under the sun drives a vehicle for the school system. Apparently, this is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, guys. Let's start with one simple move to make a difference, and to actually, this is the thing about it. I'm not afraid to say these things at a board meeting. I'm not afraid to voice my opinion because, well, we've got to have a unified front and look. No, your job is to represent the citizens of this county and quit pretending that everything is hunky dory and it's all great and smooth and it's fantastic. Like I say, when you send me that ethics document, I'm going to mark this like I do all contracts that I get. They get marked up and sent back. Well, I'm going to mark them up and put my notes, and this is what I'll agree to, and this is what I want to add. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mark that nonsense up. And having an attorney review it goes both ways. The board's got their attorney. Larry Cox will have an attorney review that too, right? So, guys, I'm not playing games. I'm not just going to sign up, sign anything you put in front of me because that's how it's been done in the past. I'm a different kind of guy, a different breed of character. If you guys want a real say and if you want your voice really heard at the Board of Education meetings, challenge you to vote for me. Challenge you to get your friends to vote for me. Challenge you to get your neighbors. I challenge you to get your enemy to vote for me because we can make a difference in this county. We can make a stand. We can improve education and we can cut the budget. Two things in one. Cut the budget and improve education because we're going to get rid of 40 plus of them 46 vehicles. That is totally ridiculous. I'm paying you $150,000 a year working in that board office. You don't need a county vehicle to drive back and forth to that office because that's all you're supposed to be using it for. Not supposed to be using it for personal business, personal use, to drive back and forth. Guarantee you, vehicles are being used for more than back and forth. It's time to put an end to the nonsense. It's time to elect someone who will put the citizens of Rockdale County first. And part of the citizens of Rockdale are the students. Teaching the students fiscal responsibility will be a great thing we can do. I will be open to any student that wants to come talk to me about the budget, talk about anything that we can do to enhance education. I think one of the main things we can do is eliminate 40 some of them vehicles and put some, cut the budget some and put some parapros back in the classroom. And then we're going to look at other ways to cut the budget. We're going to cut that budget. We're going to cut that budget, guys. Cut that budget, and we're going to enhance education. I've been on here long enough tonight, guys. We're going to, like I said, next month in December, I'm going to launch my website. I'm going to start asking for volunteers for the campaign. We're going to get some yard signs up, start putting them out the first of the year. We're going to start knocking doors. We're going to get you involved in this campaign because this is your county, it's your voice, and it's your money. So you need to be involved. You need to have a say. So, guys, thanks for coming on here tonight, and I appreciate each and every one of you making your comments on here tonight because your opinion does matter, your voice matters, and what you say matters. Because in this country, we have the freedom of speech and the right to say things. Some people might not like it, but like someone just say, it's Veterans Day. We've had Americans shed blood so that we have the right to say these things that we say. We've had them shed blood so that I can come on here and say the things that I say and promise to do the things that I want to do. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I look forward to seeing you next week on This Week from Rockdale. Share, like this show. Tell your neighbors about this show. Tell your neighbors that there's somebody running for office in Rockdale County that's going to make a difference and is going to give your voice a platform. Thanks, good night, and I'll see you next week on This Week from Rockdale.